Get up, Swifties. Happy Monday. A new countdown just dropped. This time expiring August 18th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I literally just texted all of the other Swift talkers and said, hey, be on the lookout. Taylor Nation likes to stir the pot on Mondays. And well, here we are. And I find it interesting that this time the background is not orange. It's violet, matching this lock and this deluxe CD aesthetic. I knew Taylor had more tricks up her sleeve. I'm gonna be with you every step of the way. This expires in about 4 hours. Could this be another vinyl variant? Could it be a merch drop? We love a good merch drop. Looks like the orange alert has been moved to the violet alert. There's absolutely a lot of things that this could be. I think most likely is probably vinyl variant, even though reportedly she already has the best-selling vinyl of the year. And this is what her store looked like before because I still have it up on my computer. There's what it was. Refresh. And now it's a purple one. Okay, here we go, Swifties. What do you think that this is leading to? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments and make sure you're following for more updates because I'm going to keep you updated every step of the way. Swifties, we have a slight little update to the purple countdown. Pretty much everywhere has changed to purple confetti now. If you search for Taylor Swift in the search bar of TikTok, you will get purple confetti. Google has now switched to purple confetti as well. Interestingly though, the tagline has not changed, except it being purple. It's still, and baby, that's show business for you. And the fire heart emoji is still there just with a purple background now. If you type Taylor Swift into the comments on TikTok, you will also get purple confetti. This is my screenshot of Taylor's profile on Apple Music. I'm sure by the time I post this video, there will be more. I'm still guessing that this is going to be a violet vinyl variant, and eventually we'll get one for red and silver as well to match the deluxe CDs. But Taylor said herself that there's no more music coming, and I really don't think she would have stressed that if she didn't mean it, because she knows that theories would run wild following the double album that was the Tortured Poets Department that we may or may not all still be traumatized by. It's gonna be a late night October 3rd because you know she's got plans, so request that PTO now. So if we assume there's no bonus song like there was with the Tortured Poets Department, because even the standard version had the bonus track of the manuscript, then I'm curious what the bonus material will be if it is a variant. I imagine there will be a different photo set, maybe a poster, definitely different artwork and cover art, but I wonder if there'll be anything else. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments and I'll keep you updated, so make sure you're following. Swifties, if you're a vinyl collector, you need to run to her shop now, because this will be the first and only printing of these marbled variants, the Shiny Bug Collection. And yes, there are no bonus tracks, it's only 12, and I had to take photos from my desktop because the website crashed. Good job. Over here, we have Wintergreen and Onyx, and the Violet Shimmered Marble. We also got a brand new photo of Taylor. Each vinyl variant comes with a double gatefold jacket and a full-size photograph of her. And very interesting, a unique Shiny Bug Edition poem, as well as a photo strip as well, and collectible album sleeves, limit of 4 per customer. It is only available for 48 hours, and honestly, if it's the first and only press, by the time I post this video, it could already be gone. Shiny Bug to me screams lyric. Could just be the title of the poem in the variant. It unfortunately does look like right now it's for US customers only. I'm sorry, international Swifties. But I do really like the artwork. I also think it's good that neither of them come with an exclusive bonus track, because that was something that the Tortured Poets Department was heavily criticized for. And clearly she meant it when no other music is coming, at least so far. What do you think? Did you get yours secured? Let me know in the comments. And the Shiny Bug collection is sold out in under an hour. Typical. I may or may not be currently thinking about how many times she swallowed a bug on tour, but that's beside the point. Now let's just get this out of the way. I'm pretty sure there's going to be at least 2 more variants with a red and the white silver, because we already have orange, violet, and green. Blondie always has an aesthetic, and there's always a completion of it. Now remember, if you don't like variants, that's fine. But don't get online and talk about how she's cheating the system, because honey, this is the system. Sabrina Carpenter has multiple variants, and one of them has an exclusive bonus track. Taylor is not cheating anything. She's literally playing the game by the rules. And there's no exclusive tracks this time, at least so far. So if you don't want it, you don't have to buy it. And her having countdowns to variants of her album is very typical Taylor. It's very on brand for her. So no, I don't think it's her doing too much. I think it's her being an expert at her craft. She knows how to write incredible music, and she knows how to market it incredibly well. Taylor is being very transparent this era, making sure we know that there's no extra music coming. These are first and only pressings of each vinyl, at least so far. And I don't think legally she can actually say it's the first and only pressing if it isn't the only pressing. That's why with Tortured Poets, they were always marketed as limited run. Something can be limited and then brought back. Time exclusivity is a very old marketing tactic, not just found in the music industry. For those of you who like charts, physical sales always outweigh streams, unless by the time I post this video, they change the rules magically, because nowadays physical sales are harder to get. Well, for most people. So if you have an issue with the multiple variant thing, make sure you're matching that energy for every other artist who does it, because they all have platforms too. And you take it up with the system, not the artist specifically, who's just doing what they're supposed to do. Their job, which is to sell records. All that aside, did you get your goods? Let me know in the comments. What is going to be Taylor Swift's first single from the life of a showgirl? While we may not be able to figure out definitively what it's going to be just yet, we can narrow it down, using how pop music is typically marketed and who Taylor is as a person. At least probably, because Blondie does whatever she wants. Taylor has made it crystal clear that this is a pop record. There are only 12 songs, which makes this a very standard pop album. When crafting a pop record, you want to make sure that your first 3 to 4 songs are really hooky, because that's usually where you have most of the listener's attention. This is why it's very common for artists to make the first song on the album a single. So right away, we can already assume that one of the first 4 songs is going to be a single. Hopefully there will be multiple from this album. We have a couple curveballs to consider. Firstly, her title track with Sabrina Carpenter. It's the title track and it's a highly anticipated collab with an artist who's also releasing an album, who at the time of this recording has not announced her own next single. We have about 7 weeks until the release of The Life of a Showgirl, meaning if we were to assume that The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter is going to be the first single, it's highly unlikely that Sabrina's team will pull focus away from her album release in order to make room for Taylor's release, meaning these two pop girlies are not going to drop a single at the same time. But they could theoretically drop a single and then another single, and then there's overlap with both of them dominating the charts. Chances are Sabrina's album is going to have its own moment. Same with The Life of a Showgirl. So I'm going to say The Life of a Showgirl could be the first single, but I'm going to put a big asterisk next to it because it's going to depend on Sabrina's release schedule. The other thing we have to consider is that Taylor doesn't always release her first single from the beginning of the record. For example, Look What You Made Me Do or We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, which is going to put us somewhere between Actually Romantic, Wishlist, Would, and Canceled. And Taylor Nation has already used Wishlist as a lyric pun, meaning it already has social media engagement potential. If The Life of a Showgirl title track was the first single, branding-wise, there may be some confusion. You'll notice that they refer to Taylor Swift's first album as self-titled and not Taylor Swift, its actual name. That is for brand clarity. But people make title tracks their singles all the time. One thing Taylor definitely doesn't do is make her track 5s the lead single, because they already hold a significant place on Taylor's records. So in all likelihood, it's not going to be Eldest Daughter, because she'll want her fans to listen to the album and look for that song. So right away, I don't think it's going to be tracks 5, 6, 11, or 12. That eliminates almost half the record. So that gives us about 8 songs to work with. Some other things we need to consider. The fate of Ophelia has already generated buzz online because she and Travis talked about Hamlet on New Heights. Taylor also said this.
Now, all these Libras
10,
out
3,
here.
13.
The opal birthstones.
I'm picking up this new...
Opalite and opals are not the same thing, but she did mention it, and Opalite is track 3. Canceled is also a very interesting title, because without even hearing it, fans are going to think The Time She Was Canceled or Vienna, which was canceled on the Eras tour. And she did call Travis an exclamation point, and that track has an exclamation point. Elizabeth Taylor is also a very famous showgirl, whose team is already hard at work taking advantage of the social media buzz. Another thing to consider is that Taylor likes to tell an overarching story with her records, meaning the first track on the album is going to introduce the story. On every single one of Taylor's 12 studio albums, at least one of the first 3 songs is a single. Even Red released the title track as a promo single, because the first 3 to 4 songs need to be very, very hooky. So for me, we can almost guarantee that one of these first 3 songs is going to be a single eventually. And for me, that leaves Wishlist, Canceled, maybe Actually Romantic. Wishlist and Canceled especially because they're already stylized text. I can already hear the Taylor Nation tweets using those. If The Fate of Ophelia is the story opener, Elizabeth Taylor is the strong, hooky second supporting song, and Opalite is basically in the style position of The Life of a Showgirl, meaning the hooks of those 3 first bangers are going to be pretty strong, making them all single-worthy. While I can't give you a definitive answer, my top 5 contenders are The Fate of Ophelia, Elizabeth Taylor, Opalite, Wishlist, and Canceled. An honorary mention to The Life of a Showgirl title track. What do you think though? Let me know in the comments. What is going on with Apple Music's 13 songs for The Life of a Showgirl? It's really the only music platform where 13 songs are listed. So is Taylor lying to us and there's actually a 13th bonus song for The Life of a Showgirl? Well, that's enough being an influencer, let's chat. When you go to Taylor's profile on Apple Music, you will find a video that says, "And baby, that's show business for you." And when you pre-add the album to your account, you can see the track list. And when you click on "And baby, that's show business for you," this little video plays of basically a glittering effect of the cover art. And I hate to break this to you, but this type of stuff is very common with Apple Music. Artists routinely have pre-release videos or small little teasers, and it's literally a video, but it is classified down here as one song. That's because this type of stuff is listed as a song on Apple Music. Could there be additional music from Taylor? Sure. If you would like to believe that she is a big fat liar, go for it. But this type of stuff is very common brand partnerships with Apple Music and other artists and record labels. And honestly, by participating in stuff that Taylor Swift does, People go stream her on Apple Music. Apple Music gets plays, they get money. I do, however, think there could be a visual component to this record. She said there was no more music coming, but could there be videos? Maybe it's some sort of hybrid with the Eras Tour documentary and something promoting the life of a showgirl. Maybe it's not a full-length visual album, but it's something like Ariana Grande's Brighter Days Ahead, where there are clips of the song featured in an overarching story. Also, the theme of this record is Taylor being a showgirl. That absolutely lends itself to having a visual component. But the likelihood of this being an Easter egg for a 13th song in this way is probably unlikely. I know some of you are going to think I'm a terrible person for saying that, but this sort of pre-release visual component is something that Apple Music does. It's not impossible that there's a vault song or something. And yes, hidden tracks exist, which are songs tacked onto the file of the very last song on the album. Rarely, sometimes that song is in the middle of an album. It's usually after X amount of time of silence on the same file. Sure, those exist. If Taylor Swift is going to Easter egg additional music for an album that she already confirmed is only 12 songs, I don't think she's gonna do it this way. Probably an outfit or something we missed on the Eras Tour. No, because we're not talking enough about how much of a flex it is that this woman waited till her mid-30s to finally show some skin. There is so much pressure for women to show off their bodies, even if they're uncomfortable to do so, especially within the music industry, especially for pop girls. And this woman never did it until now. At the ripe age of when everyone tries to tell you that you're washed up and done. If that is not the ultimate F you to the industry, I don't know what is. If you want to criticize Taylor for showing off more of her body this era, then I guess congratulations, you're new to pop music. Do you want an award? She's doing nothing but emulating what you've been making women do for eons. Did you even listen to Clara Bow? I mean, she has a song called Elizabeth Taylor on this album. I mean, I can't even show the entirety of this photo on Taylor's internet without it getting flagged. And that's a flex. The music industry has been relentless with women, making them show off their bodies even when they don't want to. Make no mistake, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with showing off your body. I mean, damn, if I looked like that, y'all would know. But I've already seen people say that this album is only selling because it looks spicy. But the album is selling content unheard because she built a career off the focus being her lyrics, not her body, which the industry wanted her to do, just like they do to every other woman. For her to feel confident enough to show some skin, that's a flex. And it's a major FU to every industry exec who has ever made a woman feel that they can't sell records without being sexy. So for Taylor to show off her body in her mid-30s when the industry tries to age you out and tell you that you're unattractive, which is not true, this shit's gonna be good. Pull Out for the Life of a Showgirl has arguably been one of the most satisfying payoffs ever. We have indisputable, concrete proof that Taylor has been egging this album at least as far back as Midnights. Sure, maybe she didn't know the exact content of her next records, but she clearly had an idea for their color schemes. Literally, the entire Eras Tour was an Easter egg for this album. Whether that's retroactive and she made it work, or she knew what the color scheme was going to be, so she included it. And they are not letting us forget how intrinsic this album is to the Eras Tour. Which lets me know that sometime during this album's rollout, either before or after, we're gonna find out why these two outfits were missing. She and her team know we've been tracking it. You've all seen Carol's spreadsheets. With the amount of Easter egg revelations we've already had 1 week into this album's rollout, including the Karma door of all things, her wearing the orange bodysuit in front of the A12, A16 sign in I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, green screen glitch in Gelsenkirchen, and like a whole bunch of other ones. Green and the green-yellow being noticeably absent from the tour absolutely meant something. And I bet you it was an egg for something in the Life of a Showgirl's era and rollout, which means we're probably gonna find out soon enough. And that just might be the biggest payoff of all. What do you think this was an egg for? Let me know in the comments. Welcome back to my series I'm calling If You've Been a Swiftie Since. If you've been a Swiftie since the Torture Poets department, you will remember the Grammys 2024 when Taylor was definitely going to announce Reputation Taylor's version. I mean, look, she's wearing black and white and everything's black and white. She's got a clock. Her merch shop has gone completely white. Wait, white is not Reputation's color. Well, this can't mean anything. Oh, well, I guess it does. Huh, her merch shop went down before launching a new product. She's never gonna do that again. If you've been a Swiftie since the Torture Poets department, 2. Sometimes a peace sign is just a peace sign. If you've been a Swiftie since the Torture Poets department, you'll remember the very first deluxe edition CD being launched just before she returned on the Eras Tour. Wow, that's so exciting. I wonder how many there's gonna be. There's only one bonus track, right? If you've been a Swiftie since the Torture Poets department, you will remember Taylor Swift announcing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour Taylor's version coming to Disney Plus, with 4 additional acoustic songs. If you've been a Swiftie since the Torture Poets department, you'll also remember the Super Bowl. Aw, that's so cute. American football, Taylor's version. If you've been a Swiftie since the Torture Poets department, you'll remember Taylor Swift returning to the Eras Tour in Tokyo and saying that she was actually going to announce the Tortured Poets Department in Tokyo. But when she won Album of the Year for the 4th time, she decided to do it at the Grammys instead. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember her show in Melbourne when her store went down again. She already announced a new album. What else could she be announcing? Oh, it's the Bolter variant of the Tortured Poets Department. There's more music. This variant has an exclusive track. Whoa, that's so exciting, and it's only available until 2 p.m. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember that her first show in Sydney was delayed by over an hour, completely cutting Sabrina's opening act. So she brought her out for a special duet of White Horse and Coney Island. And then was like, guess what? There's another variant of the Tortured Poets Department, this time with the Albatross. And the internet collectively was like, what the hell is an albatross? And hey, this countdown ends at 2 p.m. too. I know. Sometimes a countdown is just a countdown. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember night 2 of the Singapore shows when she announced the Black Dog variant of the Tortured Poets Department. You know, after her site went down and turned black. So no rep TV. And oh, hey, look, this countdown ends at 2 p.m. too. Well, that sure is a lot of 2s, but it can't mean anything, right? 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 If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember Taylor Swift going, ha, psych, the Eras Tour is actually available early. You can stream it now. And you'll also remember people watching the movie on live streams and Disney Plus and Taylor Nation appearing in people's live streams saying, oh, hi to everyone. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember World Poetry Day on Spotify, which led to the membership cards that you could share on social media. That's it. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you will remember the 5 Stages of Heartbreak Apple Music playlists, and you'll remember combing through the lyrics of every single song on every single playlist just to find out a lyric from the Tortured Poets Department. We're on to you, Blondie. You're not going to be able to keep anything secret on this album. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember the dispute between TikTok and UMG, where music from your favorite artist was completely removed from the platform, only for it to return just in the nick of time for the Tortured Poets Department. Hey, who's that guy? Where's his hat? If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember signed CDs. Another variant of the Tortured Poets Department. Sold out in minutes. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember the ghosted white vinyl. Another variant of the Tortured Poets Department. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember the Spotify pop-up event in LA, filled with all sorts of Easter eggs for the album. You'll also remember the YouTube Shorts puzzle that spelled out FORTH, and the other QR codes that started to appear around the globe, seemingly spelling out Fortnite. Oh my god, her merch shop went down. This is a countdown for the Fortnite CD single, and Taylor confirming herself that Fortnite was indeed the first single, and that the music video would be coming out the next day. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember the teaser for the Fortnite music video not having Fortnite in it at all, but instead Florida. Who knew? But guys, I swear, it's not gonna be a pop album. It's gonna be like Folklore and Evermore. Yeah, okay. Oh my god, it's a Tortured Poets Department merch drop. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember Taylor Nation tweeting out how many hours until the Tortured Poets Department when there were 2 left. And they retweeted her doing the peace signs. Oh my god, it's a 2 a.m. surprise. The Tortured Poets Department is a secret double album. What the f? If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you've been convinced that every album that comes after this is going to be a double album because you're scarred and traumatized, and girl, I get it. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember the record store day where you could receive an exclusive letter from Taylor herself. You'll also remember on Apple Music when one of the lyrics of I Hate It Here had changed to No Midnight in Paris. Paris? That has nothing to do with the Tortured Poets Department. Guys, it doesn't mean anything, okay? Just because her next stop on the Eras Tour is in Paris, like, she's not gonna change the set list to add this album. I can't believe you'd be so selfish to want that. Oh. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember this little callback to Midnights and the album immediately shattering every record you could possibly think of, becoming the first album on Spotify history to debut with an average of over 10 million streams per song on a 31-track album, getting 313 million first-day streams on the global Spotify chart, 127 million more than Midnights, an additional 181.9 million streams on its second day, becoming the fastest album to surpass 1 billion streams, debuting at #1 on Billboard with 2.6 million units, only behind Adele, and becoming the #1 vinyl and streaming debut, occupying the entire top 14 of the Hot 100, becoming the fastest album to surpass 2 billion streams, and a whole bunch of other things. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you will remember the Tortured Poets Department cardigan, oh, a merch drop, the Spotify exclusive hoodie, which later became available for everyone, this random merch drop, the store-wide restock, the lyric collection, the guitar, the lyric 2 collection, the folklore cardigan returning, the next Eras Tour collection, the greatest in the league collection, the autumn chill collection, the Midnight's cardigan, the Tortured Poets Holiday Collection, the Holiday Essentials, all of the cardigans returning and immediately selling out before you even had a chance to blink, the Acoustic Piano Collection, the Acoustic Guitar Collection, the new editions of the Lover Live from Paris vinyls, the Lover cardigan, the Fearless cardigan, the Tortured Poets Department Anniversary Collection, the Summer 2025 Collection, the Speak Now Taylor's Version Anniversary Collection. Hey, these kind of don't feel like the Tortured Poets Department anymore. Why is that? Well, she's definitely not gearing up for TS12 because that would be the crowd chanting more. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember the first draft phone memo digital variants, and the live version bonus track variants, and the other Live from the Eras Tour digital variants, the Live from Paris digital variants, the Down Bad and Guilty of Sin acoustic version variants, the Fresh Out the Slammer and Fortnite acoustic version variants, the Live from Stockholm acoustic version variant, the But Daddy I Love Him acoustic version variant, and waiting all year for the physical version of the anthology, and the Eras Tour book. Wasn't asking for that, but we'll take it. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember that I Can Do It With a Broken Heart became the fastest non-single to surpass 100 million streams in Spotify history. Oh look, it became the second single from the Tortured Poets Department. And look, we got a music video. We're definitely not going to be thinking about something like this for the rest of our lives. Rep TV? Rep TV? If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember really cool stuff on the Eras Tour like this in Germany. That's 70,000 people inside the stadium and 50,000 outside of it. The fantastic way Vienna responded after their shows got canceled. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember Taylor being mother. Oh, look, another merch drop. The Snow Globe, the Black Friday sale, the Cyber Monday sale. Okay, including the CDs, the variants, the merch, carry 38 merch drops. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember the Eras Tour archive and then completely ignoring it until July 2025. We'll talk about that in another video. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember them filming the final shows in Vancouver and being haunted by it every single day since. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you will remember the Swift Effect on NBC featuring a whole bunch of really cool people, especially this guy. He looked kind of cute. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember Taylor Swift showing up at the Grammys 2025, not wearing white or black, and having 12 jewels in her earrings. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember Taylor Swift showing up via video message to the iHeartRadio Music Awards where she was definitely going to announce Rep TV and instead just gave us an additional performance from the Eras Tour movie. She said we hadn't seen it before, but I think she forgot that we watched every single show. It's okay, she worked really hard. If you've been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember clowning for the American Music Awards where Taylor is definitely going to announce Rep TV this time, except she didn't show up. Okay, she's entitled to her privacy, but where is she? There's been no additional single. There's no Eras Tour documentary. Been a Swiftie since the Tortured Poets Department, you'll remember Taylor Swift getting all of her masters back. Taylor finally acknowledged Rep TV and said she hadn't even recorded a quarter of it. Okay, didn't see that coming, but I guess debut's done. Love that, super excited. Wait a minute, what's that? There are 12 I's in the word this. And what's that second piece of paper under this one? Why does she have a new logo? Why is it glittery in the background? Oh my god, her merch shop is closed, everything is orange, and there's a countdown. Well, I guess the Tortured Poets Department era is over. No third single. Rep TV, get up Swifties, we've got blue confetti rolling out. This is my screenshot on Apple Music. The glitter has changed to blue. And my own screenshot, if you type in Taylor Swift, the confetti is now blue today. Now, weirdly enough, her site is not down yet, although it could be by the time I post this video. And I just checked, this is my screenshot, neither is Google, it's still purple, which I'm kind of happy about because I just woke up. West Coast Swifties, where you at? It also doesn't quite match the lock we had. Here's that color. Here's Apple Music again for comparison. And for the last two countdowns, her site went down and then the confetti appeared. Now the opposite is happening. Since this glitter doesn't match what we have so far, this feels a little different. This be leading to a new single. Here in the US, it is Thursday, and new music drops at midnight, which means it actually is possible we could be heading toward new single. I'm not saying that is exactly where we're going, but this is weird. I just refreshed her website as I'm filming this, and still nothing. That is odd. As of 6:45 a.m., I'm not sure where this is leading, but I absolutely would be on orange alert. Make sure you're following because I'm going to update you every step of the way. What do you think this is leading to? Let me know in the comments because this is very weird. When it comes to Taylor Swift and how she releases things, generally speaking, countdown is to merch drop as puzzle is to music content. Countdown is to merch drop as puzzle is to music content. There are always curveballs and never put Taylor in a specific box because she will always find her way out of it. But generally speaking, Taylor does have sort of a signature with how she drops things. So the fact that we have blue glitter today and no countdown is suspicious, especially when that blue does not quite match any of the variants, at least not exactly. Countdown is to merch drop as puzzle is to music content. Another rule about Taylor Swift is she doesn't like to do the same thing twice unless people don't expect her to. That is why all of your favorite Swiftie creators got online, saw a purple countdown, and thought, oh, we're getting a variant. She trained us well. And sure, sometimes she doesn't follow this pattern, which is why I very rarely say something is definitively this way. There's always wiggle room with her, which makes her an exciting artist. But if history shows us anything, it means if we want a first single from her, we're probably gonna have to hunt for it. Anybody see any QR codes pop up anywhere? Any billboards? So a countdown typically leads to a vinyl variant, a merch drop, a CD sale. But a puzzle like a long-term Easter egg can lead to lyric content, bonus track titles, vault songs, first single, a music video, or yes, even hinting at a brand new album itself. Countdown can still appear for the blue confetti, and this very well could be a vinyl variant, and no, I don't think this was an accident. But until I see countdown, I'm on orange alert. This started literally the second my video posted. Well, looks like we're getting another variant. These, we do have the blue countdown. And it's a very specific shade of blue that looks really familiar. Google has also finally changed to blue, and the tagline is still, and baby, that's show business for you. I do think that this is leading to vinyl variant. I also cannot believe that this countdown appeared literally as I posted my other video. Also, fans have noticed that this is a 3-hour countdown. This was a 4-hour countdown. This was a 3-hour countdown. And this was a 5-hour countdown. That's 3, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't know what that means, but it's a countdown in and of itself. In all likelihood, jokes aside, this is probably going to be a vinyl variant. But it doesn't match any of the locks, which is odd, right? So it's probably going to have additional artwork, something that fits the glittery theme we've been seeing. And considering this was the Shiny Bug collection, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is probably gonna be a collection too, meaning it's probably gonna be more than one variant, and the title of it is gonna be some sort of lyric. The Shiny Bug collection had an exclusive poem, so I imagine this is gonna have an exclusive poem as well. I love that she did this in opposite order to keep us on our toes. Follow along for more updates, and let's see TS12, The Life of a Showgirl, and Taylor Swift in the comments so we can see that blue confetti. Swifties, as predicted, we have a new vinyl collection, and this might be the hottest cover of them all. Like, look at this photo, and I'm not showing the whole thing because I don't want this video to get flagged. First, we have the Lovely Bouquet Golden Vinyl, which love the color scheme. We also have the Lakeside Beach Blue Sparkle Vinyl, and I'm obsessed with this blue color. And are these Eras Tour dancers? I can neither confirm or deny that because my head is spinning. As predicted, these ones come with a unique Baby That's Show Business poem, just like the Shiny Bug variant did. And I don't know about all of you, but I'm starting to think that Liz is correct with this theory. Which, if true, we probably have a yellow variant coming and a pink one. Like Liz pointed out in her video, the green one is up for debate because she never wore it. And for you new Swifties, this is not real. She never wore it. It's a fan edit. I am obsessed with this cover art, and I just love the vinyl coloring. The collector in me is elated for this. Once again, it's only available for 48 hours, which means it's probably gonna be unavailable by the time I post this video. I just absolutely love this imagery. She looks fantastic. The costuming is so cool. Were you able to secure the goods? Let me know in the comments, and follow for more updates. Is there a countdown within a countdown happening with all these vinyl releases? The very first countdown we got for The Life of a Showgirl was for 3 hours. The Karma Door countdown was for 5 hours. The Shiny Bug countdown was for 4 hours. That's 3, 4, and 5. But then today's countdown was another 3, which we have to remember for those of you choosing to ignore the orange countdown in order to fit this theory. I agree that that is suspicious though. However, from a music marketing perspective, we have to remember something about the Karma Door countdown in particular. The Karma Door in particular was made to reveal the 4 locks, meaning there needed to be an hour to generate buzz about the Karma Door, then an hour for orange, then an hour for red, then an hour for violet, and then another hour for silver, for a total of 5 hours. The benefit of this 5-hour countdown was to sell the deluxe CDs and reveal the album artwork, and the track list and all that other stuff. So if we ignore the orange one, yes, we do have 5, 4, 3, but we can't ignore it. Now the days in between the countdowns is very interesting. There were 4 days between the Karma Door and the Violet countdown, 3 days between Violet and Blue. The Swifties are thinking we might get something on Saturday and Sunday to do 2 and 1, but we already had 1. The orange countdown to the Karma Door was 1 day. So that may mean we have 2 days until we get a pink variant, if we assume the 1989 combos are the keys to all the variants. Could also be green or yellow, but the jury's still out on that one. And we did sort of get a yellow one today. So is there a countdown happening? Right now, for me, I wouldn't say yes or no definitively just yet, because aside from the standard version with the pre-order, each variant is available for 48 hours. So if in 2 days this variant goes away and that same day we get a signal for another countdown, then yeah, I'm team countdown is happening. But the orange countdown has me cautious clowning right now. What do you think though? Let me know in the comments. Why is this the album cover of the Torture Why is this the album cover of The Life of a Showgirl? As we get more and more variants of each album, fans usually tend to divide themselves among which artwork is their favorite. But that often leads to people forgetting or missing why the official artwork is chosen. So this is less theory-based and more so symbolism and communications in media, especially entertainment and music. As somebody who's made 5 albums, is working on a 6th, and has 18 years experience in this industry, let me talk about this album cover. The theme of this record is obviously show business, the life of a showgirl. And Taylor is fully dipping into what was the aesthetic of 1920s showgirls. Feathers, glitter, jewels, showing some skin, and looking fabulous while doing it. It's supposed to be Hollywood glamour, but it's not a full throwback. It is gonna have some modern elements too. And Taylor said on New Heights that this picture is sort of the vibe of how she would feel at the end of each show, while on the Eras Tour. But she's under murky water that looks almost like cellophane. In other words, plastic. And bits and pieces of her body are disjointed, or appear separated from each other like shattered glass. Her expression is soft and relaxed, but also carries weight via her eyes. They denote mystery, but also exhaustion, like how she might feel at the end of a show of the Eras Tour. Shattered glass in photography and media tends to communicate subtle messages of fragility, vulnerability, and obviously destruction. Bathwater also symbolizes vulnerability, calmness, and release. Plastic cellophane symbolizes a few things as well, from consumerism to, again, fragility. It can also be used in photography to showcase different points of interest and create reflections. So the water in this photograph is used like cellophane. Taylor's body is relaxed under the water, but she's also guarded by the layer of cellophane. This is to communicate that there's more beyond the surface. And the broken fragments that reflect her body reflect the vulnerability of what will probably be the album's content. And I'm sure, objectification. The orange in her text comes from the orange in her blush so that the colors match. Mint green symbolizes renewal and tranquility, similarly to bathwater, hence why mint green is seen throughout. The jewelry and the glitter in this case symbolize what the public sees versus what's going on underneath or behind the scenes. The album, in typical Taylor fashion, probably has a few feminist bangers to draw the listener into what it feels like being a showgirl, since that is this album's theme. And if you look at the alternate artwork, they have that same sense of softness and mystery, but they also have a darkness to them too, at least so far, meaning that this album is going to be exciting, exuberant, and electric, but it's also likely based on its official artwork that there's more underneath that. While there might not necessarily be a darkness to it, there may be more mystery to it that you can't quite access from the surface. Orange in color theory symbolizes optimism, energy, and enthusiasm. So I believe her and Travis when they say that this album is nonstop bops, but there's also going to be a message underneath that. So when listening to the album start to finish, by the end of the record, we will feel like that. And that's why this picture is the official album cover. To be honest with you all, I don't think Taylor cares about this year's Grammy cycle. I know everyone wants a first single from her, I do too, but I don't think she's gonna release it in August. And I have a few reasons. One of them being, look at how she promoted the Tortured Poets Department, or didn't promote it. First of all, yes, Taylor Swift announced the Tortured Poets Department at the Grammys. And ever since this scene in the Miss Americana documentary about Reputation not getting any Grammy nods, and her saying she needed to make a better album, everyone swears by this that every Grammy cycle means the most to her. But y'all take a look at something. Have you noticed how happy our girl is now? AKA the complete opposite of that timeline. This girl is on top of the world. She is the pop star. This girl was still in some of the lowest points of her life. Two very different timelines. If Taylor was desperate for those Grammys like she was during Reputation, this would not have been the only follow-up single from the Tortured Poets Department. She would have much more actively promoted that album. And I don't just mean variants. I don't think it's unrealistic to think that Taylor wrote her stream of consciousness for the Tortured Poets Department, put it out into the world, and moved on because she was in a much happier place in her life. Exhibit A, Easter egging the next project after just releasing her previous one. I think Taylor is much more focused on the future and dominating the next Grammy cycle. And I know, what about Sabrina Carpenter and Man's Best Friend? Guys, they're friends. But this is a business. Absolutely zero offense to Sabrina. She's an incredible artist. I love and adore her. But if Taylor drops a song, all streams are going to her. Sorry. It will pull focus away from her release, even if the first single is the title track, The Life of a Showgirl. No, it's not going to benefit Sabrina because people are gonna go stream Taylor. But if Sabrina has her moment, Taylor can be like, oh, go support my friend Sabrina. I'm so excited for this album. She's worked so hard. I loved her on the Eras Tour, blah, 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 emotional post here. And then when Taylor releases her record, that frees Sabrina up to cross-promote for her. Oh my gosh, I loved creating The Life of Showgirl with Taylor. It was so much fun, blah, 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 blah. Sabrina gets her streams, Taylor gets hers. Look at how the world responded to Taylor's release. She has the biggest, gigantic fan base. And you know who knows that best of all? Taylor. I don't think she's gonna try to shoehorn something in for this Grammy cycle. She has skipped Grammy cycles before. Taylor Swift's vinyl variants sell out like hotcakes. Meanwhile, I'm still getting ads for Sabrina Carpenter's variants that are plenty available. And I'm not ragging on Sabrina, I'm just saying Taylor is much bigger. So we don't need to worry about Taylor siphoning attention away from her friend. Well, what about Ed Sheeran? He has an album coming out on September 12th. This is not gonna get me any fans, but I'm sorry, Ed Sheeran is not a pop girl. Pop girls play by different rules. Ed's music is accessible, people love him, but he's not a pop girl. Taylor's not gonna worry about his release. And his is for an album. We're talking about a first single, which by the way is synonymous with lead single. They're the same thing. That will be on the test, because if I get tagged in another video of people screwing this up because they don't understand that the first single is the lead single no matter when it's released, either before or at the same time as the album, you will fail the test. So I don't think she cares about it the way she once did. She's having a lot more fun with this release. So I think a single release in September is much more likely. Here's what you missed on the journey to TS12 week 2. Taylor Nation said, get up, there's a purple countdown on her website. Actually, Taylor Nation said nothing at all. They just leave us to fend for ourselves. But Taylor really likes doing things on Mondays. Get up. Suddenly on TikTok, you could type in Taylor Swift, TS12, or The Life of a Showgirl, and get some purple confetti that looked really cool. And then the purple confetti appeared on Google. It was previously orange last week. And then it appeared again if you search for those things on TikTok. Apple Music got all purple and glittery. Even Instagram when you shared a Taylor song on the Notes feature. What the heck is going on? It's obviously going to be her first single. No, instead it's a bug. A shiny bug. The Shiny Bug collection appeared for the first and only pressing. Now that's new. We got the wintergreen and onyx marbled vinyl and the violet shimmered marble vinyl. And these variants come with an exclusive poem written by Taylor. And the website crashed. And then it was entirely sold out worldwide in under an hour. Good job. The FTC sued Key Investment Group for using 49 different accounts to purchase 273 tickets to the Eras Tour during the Great War. Oh God, not trauma, I can't go back. And then resold them for a profit, all to avoid the original 6-ticket purchase limit. Key Investment Group is part of the reason we had a Great War, and part of the reason the general public sale was canceled. See what I did there? That's now a Taylor Swift song. I get to make that joke. Taylor Nation reminded us that it has been 1 week since The Life of Showgirl was officially announced. Well, that was fast. And then the next day was like, hey, wanna buy something? Yeah, but no. Swifties noticed right away that the purple confetti switched to blue on TikTok and Apple Music, and then that was it. We had to wait a while for anything else, and that was really weird. Blondie, what are you up to? Swifties also began to notice that this glitter is looking a little familiar. Were the 1989 combos actually Easter egging TS12 and what the variants would be? I don't know. But hey, we have a yellow and a blue one now. I think we had a yellow and a blue combo on the Eras Tour too. We got the Lovely Bouquet golden vinyl and the Lakeside Beach blue sparkle vinyl. The latter of which sold out in minutes across the globe. Sorry, European Swifties, is 8 minutes not enough to buy things? Hey Taylor, if you're listening, stock is a really good thing to have, even for limited runs. Come here. Okay, just between us two. You saw how many people were at the Eras Tour, right? And outside the stadium? I'm just saying, maybe just a little bit more is okay. European Swifties fighting for their lives. And then there was a teeny tiny restock in the US the next morning, and then it was gone within minutes. Good job. Fans also began to notice a mysterious exit sign lurking in the bottom corner of her website that appears to be at the same location where she filmed the Delicate music video, and apparently the photo shoot for The Life of a Showgirl. Is this a mysterious Easter egg for something on the album or TS13? Probably not. It's part of the background of her website and this artwork. And that's basically what you missed for the journey to TS12 week 2. I will see you next Sunday, August 31st for week 3.